She sat there quietly at the bus stop, her small wheelchair wobbling slightly as the cold wind brushed against her face. Tiny hands gripped the sides of her chair, fingers trembling, not just from the chill but from the overwhelming sense of abandonment. People passed by, eyes darting briefly, some with pity, some with annoyance, but no one stopped. Her mother had simply kissed her on the forehead, whispered something hurriedly about being busy, and walked away as if leaving her there was no different than leaving a bag on the curb. But for her, it was everything. The little girl's eyes, wide and tearful, scanned the street. Every car that slowed down, every bus that honked felt like a small hope, only to be disappointed. Her chest tightened as she realized she was truly alone. She had always depended on her mom for everything: meals, stories before bed, help getting dressed, someone to make her laugh on a rough day. But now there was nothing. Just her, the cold pavement, and the harsh realization that the world seemed far bigger and crueler than she ever imagined. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. The sound of distant traffic and muffled conversations filled the air, but none of it reached her heart. And then, as she watched the traffic, a black car slowly rolled to a stop near the bus stop. Its windows reflected the bright afternoon sun, and inside sat a man, casually observing the scene with an expression that didn't belong to a passerby. He was impeccably dressed, his presence calm but commanding, like someone who had seen the world but still carried a spark of empathy. He stepped out, approaching her slowly, careful not to startle her. She flinched instinctively, unsure if this was another person who would look at her and walk away. But then he knelt to her level, offering a gentle smile. "Hey there," he said softly. "Are you okay? Did someone leave you here?" The little girl shook her head, tears spilling over as her voice caught in her throat. "Mom, she went away." "I see," the man replied, his tone neither judgmental nor pitying, just calm and understanding. "My name's Alex. I don't usually interfere in people's business, but I think someone should be looking out for you right now. Can I help?" Her eyes widened. The idea that a stranger, especially one who looked so important and busy, would care enough to help her was almost surreal. She hesitated, then nodded. Alex guided her gently to the curb, speaking softly about nothing in particular to ease her fear. "You know, sometimes people have bad days, and it's not your fault. But there's always someone who will care, and sometimes they show up when you least expect it." As they waited for the bus together, he offered her a small bottle of water from his bag and a granola bar. She took them shyly, unsure how to respond to such unexpected kindness. Other commuters stared briefly, whispering, but Alex ignored them, focusing solely on her. The bus arrived, its doors sliding open with a hiss, and he lifted her wheelchair onto the ramp with practiced ease. As they rode, Alex chatted lightly, learning her name, favorite colors, and small little details about her life. Every word she shared seemed to brighten her spirit. It was like sunlight had suddenly broken through a stormy sky. She realized, with a small, shy smile, that the world wasn't entirely harsh. There were people out there who could care without expecting anything in return. People like Alex. By now, if you're watching this, you're probably wondering how one stranger could make such a huge difference in a child's life. If this story is touching your heart, go ahead and hit that like button. Comment your thoughts below. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that kindness exists, and subscribe to Kindness Valley to see more stories that restore your faith in humanity. Alex didn't stop at the bus. When they reached the little girl's destination, a community center that offered care for children who needed temporary support, he stayed with her until he was sure she was safe. He filled out the paperwork for her, spoke with the staff, and even promised to check back the next day to make sure she was comfortable. As he left, the little girl waved, a genuine smile spreading across her face for the first time that day. It wasn't about the money, or the car he drove, or the influence he held in his own life. It was about noticing someone in need and deciding to act. Sometimes that small decision can completely change a life. For her, Alex wasn't just a stranger. He was proof that the world had room for compassion even in moments of despair. Her mother would eventually return, later than expected, perhaps ashamed, perhaps realizing her own mistakes. But that day and in the memory of that encounter, the little girl learned something vital. Help can come from anywhere, from anyone who notices and cares. And that lesson, more than anything, would stay with her for the rest of her life. Stories like these remind us why we need to pay attention to the world around us. Because you never know when a small gesture, a smile, a helping hand, a few words of comfort could mean the difference between hopelessness and hope. As the screen prepares to fade, remember that kindness is contagious. If this story inspired you, make sure to like, comment, and share it to spread the message. And don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Valley so you never miss a story that touches the heart and restores your faith in humanity. The little girl's laughter echoes faintly as the video fades out, and even though her day started with abandonment and fear, it ends with hope, connection, and a reminder that the world is always full of people willing to step in, strangers who can become heroes.